UFC 249. Let's get into this. So, the first fight that I will be predicting will be Jeremy Stephens versus Calvin Kattar. So, yeah, um, it feels like forever since Stephens has won, Because I remember that body shot that Aldo landed. I mean, Stephens, I think he did wobble Aldo a little bit. Can't fully remember. I think he did wobble Aldo a little bit and then fought Zabit, and Zabit was just Zabit, isn't he? He's a beast, and just mugged him off. Even though Zabit, he just get tired. He was able to beat Stephens. And then he had those two fights with Yair, and you know what? The first one wasn't Stephens' fault. Like he sort of like got, it was sort of like his eye sort of got scratched, like the hand movement of Yair Rodriguez. He sort of it looked like he got scratched, and Jeremy Stephens is so tough. He wouldn't just back down. He wouldn't just say no, 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 I'm not fighting now. And then he fought Yair again, and he had some decent success, but Yair was just too flashy. Didn't really get hit that much. And Stephens did nearly get finished in the first, I'm pretty sure, but then he just got up and he was just really tough. Stephens as tough as they come. And at the end of the day, they're both guys. Him and Kattar are both guys like who are potential top contenders. Like for Stephens, it's about because he's been near the title before, but just hasn't got there. He's always lost to the elite of the elite, top competition. But Kattar, even though he's been round like I think he's been fighting since 2007 or something, just a really long time. He's never really fought top people. I know Kattar's fought Andre Philly, mugged him off. He was getting beat by Shane Burgos, but that felt like mostly a boxing fight, really. That did. It was just hands all the time. Burgos versus Calvin, but then Calvin managed to knock him out in the third because Burgos was leaning out, and Calvin just bam got him, and then he did fight Zabit as well, and again Zabit, he was just way better than Kattar, But they're around the same age. I think Stephens is like 32, 33, and Calvin Kattar's like 31, I think. So, yeah, but the difference is, I sort of feel like Stephens, he's had loads of wars, well, not wars, but like he's been hit a lot more. But at the same time, you think Stephens has had so much experience as well. I mean, I know Kattar lost to Renato Moicano, but Renato Moicano convincingly beat him. But then when Stephens fought Renato, it was like a bit of a pretty close fight, really. I know he knocked out Chris Fishgold and knocked out what's his name? Ricardo Lames. I know Lames, he's a bit past it now, isn't he? But still pretty good wins, But it feels like a bit of a difficult one, to be honest. Stephens, he's only lost to the top level people, and Kattar, I know he's done good, but he isn't like top level yet. He isn't at the top of the food chain. So I'm gonna have to go for Jeremy Stephens, second round KO. That's out. Jeremy Stephens will be the winner. That's what I think. Next up, Jacare Souza versus Uriah Hall. So I think this will be an alright fight, to be honest. I mean, I was quite impressed when Jacare went up and fought Jan Blachowicz and had a very close fight with him. Because, a lot of people... I know Thiago Santos managed to knock out Jan Blachowicz, but a lot of people either get beat by him or knocked out by him. I mean, recently, Corey Anderson went for that leg kick, then Jan, bam, big right hand and just knocked him out. Totally flattened him, So for Jacare to go up against him, go up to like heavyweight, and especially like I think he was like 40, 39 or 40. Oh yeah, he was 40 when he did it, and yeah, pretty sick really that he was able to have a really really close fight with Jan Blachowicz. I personally, I don't know, like it was just so close. It was a bit hard to pay attention to because it was a little bit of a lackluster fight, but I enjoyed it a bit. I personally thought Jacare just won slightly, held him there, controlled him, and did some damage in the clinch a bit. I felt, but I don't know. I don't really remember loads about that fight, to be fair. He lost to Jack Hansen as well. Jack Hansen just did way better than him because he was actually in Jacare's guard, I remember, but Jack just beat him. I just don't think that was Jacare's night, was it? And obviously he was getting beat by Chris Weidman, outboxed by Chris Weidman, but then he landed that big right hand at the end of the third, and that was pretty good. Had a ridiculously close fight with Calvin Gastelum, but Gastelum managed to land a bit more damage and drop him. So it's not like he's really been getting mugged off or anything. But he's definitely past it, but he's still quite good. He's still a threat. Now, Uriah Hall, he had a really close fight with Antonio Carlos Jr. I remember he was defending all right when Antonio Carlos Jr. got his back and Uriah was like holding his arm out while he had his back because he was standing up and he had the body triangle on his back. And yeah, Uriah Hall did alright in that fight. I mean, that was a really close one as well. Against Antonio Carlos Jr. And then I remember he was fighting Paulo Costa. He did alright against Paulo Costa. He was jabbing him loads. But then Costa just landed a load of shots and battered him. And obviously, he's just had a bit of a weird career, to be honest. He's just a really funky, crazy fighter. Uriah Hall is. I mean, that spinning kick knockout, we all know about that. Absolutely insane. Just beast, you know. And Gastelum managed to beat him, I know. And he's lost to bloody John Howard, a close fight with John Howard. That was after he fought bloody Gastelum right after. Weird fight, a very weird fight. Lost to Chris Wyman years ago. So, but yeah, a lot of people say he's just too much of a nice guy. He just doesn't really like going for the kill. He did have that insane knockout of Gegard Mousasi, but then Mousasi knocked him out in the second fight near the end of the first round. So he's just had a bit of a mixed career. He's got quite a funky, cool style. But I feel like, you know, he all he is just stand up, really. He hasn't really got anything else. So if Jacare takes him down, I know he defended all right against Antonio Carlos Jr., but if he's only defending all right against him and can only get a split decision against Carlos Jr., then against Jacare Souza, Jacare's submission game will probably, you know, just wreck him. But even in the stand up, I feel like the Jacare's got a really decent chance of getting. But I think Jacare will take him down and submit him. So I'm going for probably third round submission from Jacare Souza. Next fight, Aleksandr Hernandez versus Islam Makhachev. So Makhachev is quite good, isn't he? I mean, he's a bit wild, as I say. I know he didn't knock out Gleison Tebow, but Tebow, as we all know, he just, you know, cut too much water and water weight, and he's just depleted, isn't he? Just totally depleted. It's madness, absolute madness how much he was cutting. But still a decent knockout, and you know, he had a bit of a, you know, he's got, as I say, Islam Makhachev, good judo, quite a wild striker though. And in that Davy Hamas fight, it was mostly just like, he didn't really go too wild. He was just mostly like, just picking him apart, but like, it was just sort of stiff, you know, just stiff shots really, it felt like to me. And Hamas got a bit of clinching involved, but you know, you could tell Islam won, didn't he? He was just, you know, he just did really well. Hernandez though, really good wrestling. I know he got took down by Cowboy, but got back up. You know, he did get back up. And he was doing good coming forward against Cowboy. He was doing good in that fight until he got knocked out, you know. Well, TKO'd. So, and his wrestling's good, you know. And I feel like he'll be able to counter the judo of Makhachev. And I feel like his striking's more slick. So, I'm sorry that I haven't got much to say about either of these guys, but I'm going for Aleksandr Hernandez, first round, KO. Let's do this. Because the thing is, Makhachev has not fought someone with a striking as good as him, you know. So I could be a fool. I could be totally wrong, but who knows? Because originally, I swear I heard that it was meant to be Gregor Gillespie fighting Makhachev, and I would have picked Gregor as well, to be honest. Because, well, Gregor's wrestling's better than Hernandez's wrestling, but I would say Hernandez is more well-rounded than Gregor. But those guys haven't fought yet, have they? So, but we'll just see what happens. Two young, hungry prospects. It'll be a lot of fun. So, yeah. Picking Hernandez, first round KO. Alright then, so the next fight, Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade 2. So this will be, oh man, the thing is, the first fight they had, Rose just had such a masterclass. I wanted her to win so bad because, you know, she's had all these like mental health issues and this anxiety, and I just felt kind of bad, and I thought, oh, but she's so skilled, come on, I just really hope she wins this. And she was doing so good. It was just textbook. It was just such a perfect performance. The mid-air Kimuras were a good form of defence at first, you know. But in the second one, like she did one, then it ended up fine. She defended, and then she did a second one, and she got thrown down, but she like landed on her back, so it was all right. But I thought, that one was a little bit risky. Maybe she shouldn't keep going for this move because mid-air submissions are quite dangerous, really, and just not worth it. So I know it was just a form of defense, and it's easier said than done because she probably thought she could get the finish. But then it happened a third time in the so it happened twice in the first. Then the third time was in the second round, and she went for the um Kimura. And Andrade, she just had to fight the hands, and then she got her up, and well, yeah, it was quite scary. She landed on her head, it was just terrifying to see, really. But thankfully Rose was all right. After the second one, she like got Jessica Andrade in an armbar, and for a lot of the first round, Andrade wasn't really fighting the right fight. She needed to come forward and be aggressive in the second one. Even though she could have had a big risk of being knocked out, she did the right thing in the second round by coming forward. And to be honest, fair play to Andrade. Namajunas, you've got to give her a props though. Beating Jacare twice, absolute madness, just insane. She's quite tough as well. I know she's got the mental health problems, but she's quite tough as well. Andrade, she did get mugged off by Jacare, but did well against Rose. Just a brute strength of her. She's not like the smartest fighter in the world, but she's got such brute strength and such brute power and mental toughness. But in the fight against Wei Li Zhang, she was just charging forward, a bit like Wadum did against Stipe Miocic. Charging forward, not a care in the world, and then, got tagged and knocked out. So she won't do that against Rose. I feel like Andrade just learned a lesson. Don't come forward like a mad person. Sort of, it's fine to come forward and be aggressive, but she just thought Wei Li Zhang was just useless, in that fight, I felt. But yeah, Rose just has to keep the masterclass performance, which I think she will, and I think she won't make as drastic mistakes like she did last time. So I'm going for Rose Namajunas to win by decision. I mean, I know she nearly finished Andrade in the first fight, because I remember she did drop her at one point and was in Andrade's guard and hitting her. But I don't think she'll be going for the finish this time. I think she'll just think, I've got to get the decision, then fight Jacare, and then I don't know what she'll do after that, to be honest, because beating Jacare 3 times is ridiculously impressive, but not defending the title loads. I don't know what she wants to do, really, to be honest. I would say if she's really worried, like if this mental health stuff is messing with her, I'd say retire probably. That's probably the best way to go, really, just retiring. But if she wants to continue and just fight the other top strawweights, then go for it, or maybe go to flyweight. I don't think that's a good idea, but maybe. Yeah, let's just see what happens. She's got to get through this fight first, hasn't she? Finally, the one we've been waiting for, Khabib versus Tony. Yeah, they tried to book it 4 times before, didn't work out, and now it is finally happening after all this time. I know this is probably how every MMA fan feels, but yeah, it's just felt like a long time coming. As of recording this today, it is the 7th of March, so anything can happen the upcoming weeks to the fight, but I'm just so glad this is happening, to be honest. So yeah, when we think about Khabib, apart from the Gleison Tebow fight, he's basically mugged everyone else. I know they he got the win in the Gleison Tebow fight, and the judges gave him all the rounds, but a lot of people think that Khabib lost that fight, and so do I, to be fair. But I guess they just wanted to keep his streak up. So yeah, fair enough, I guess. A bit daft, really. Like that one loss wouldn't have affected anything really, and he definitely beat Gleison Tebow now. I think anyway that he would, So yeah, fair play to Khabib for keeping this up so long. He's just a beast, really. I know he said he doesn't want to fight too much longer. He really doesn't want to fight too much longer. But to be honest, he cemented himself as probably one of the greatest lightweights ever. If he is able to just maul Tony, then he definitely has cemented himself. Beating McGregor was quite good, but it wasn't the McGregor from 2017, which isn't Khabib's fault. He just fought the McGregor that was given to him, But this is the $100 million McGregor, you know, who's just sort of more chilled out and just likes to lie in bed in the morning rather than getting up at 6 a.m. going for the runs, you know. So, yeah, to be honest though, beating Dustin was quite amazing, you know, and I feel like the scary thing about Khabib is that he's been able to mug off so many people so easily and just maul them and wrestle them. And I know he's mostly fought strikers. I feel like fighting Tony, this will be the first proper grappling geezer he'll be fighting. And Tony has got a vicious game off his back, the way he was able to submit Kevin Lee. And Tony can take a shit ton of punishment. And Tony's definitely got the striking ability. You know, I mean, there isn't really anyone out there who's ever just wrestled Tony. Because they probably don't want to be in his guard, and I don't see Khabib being able to beat Tony in a striking match. And every single person Tony Ferguson has fought, they've ended up really bloodied and battered. So, as much as everyone's going to think Khabib will win, because he, as I say, he's just a beast, I feel like Tony will just be too much for him. His striking will be too much, and his bottom game will just be too much for Khabib. So, yeah, Tony will be the champ, I think, you know. It'll be quite cool, really. I think Tony deserves it, you know, all the stuff he's been through, especially with that situation with his wife and his baby and the restraining order. I don't know if it was a baby or a kid. I don't know how old his baby or his kid is, but I do feel sorry for his situation. So I think Tony will get this done. Probably a fourth round submission, in my opinion. Khabib will just get battered and battered for ages, and then Tony will be able to beat him. So yeah, those Tony will be able to submit him, I mean, because Khabib will just be desperate for the takedown. So yeah, I think Tony Ferguson will get the job done. So those are my predictions then. Thanks for watching. See ya.